Hey guys, it's Melanie. Welcome back, or welcome if you are new. I hope you are having a fantastic day. In this video, I want to share a post-burn review of Voluspa Spiced Pumpkin Harvest. This is a really beautiful, sophisticated, elevated type of pumpkin spice fragrance. The very first time that I tried this particular scent was actually a number of years ago when I just purchased a Voluspa. I think it was actually maybe like a holiday sampler from Sephora, and this fragrance was included, but they were just these little votives, right? But when I lit up that votive, I immediately fell in love with the fragrance and knew that I wanted to splurge on a larger size. Now, it took me a few years to finally do that, but I'm really glad that I did. I really adore this fragrance, you guys. It does smell a lot more, I don't know if the right word is elevated or sophisticated, but it smells like a slightly more like mature pumpkin spice type of fragrance. It's a little bit different from the usual, like, you know, pumpkin cupcake type scents. So anyway, I love this one. Now, I'm going to be linking this at the top of the description box, where you can currently find Voluspa candles for 25% off. The Voluspa website very rarely has sales. Sometimes, you know, around Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and occasionally for some of the other holidays throughout the year, you might catch a 20 or 25% off sale from them, but they don't happen very regularly. So the website, where I'm going to link this down below, the Voluspa candles actually pretty regularly go on sale. So anyway, the glass jar that you are going to see for this fragrance, the newest iteration, the glass looks a little bit different. It's got a different design. This glass here is from their Japonica collection. So I'm not sure you can really readily find this particular style of jar anymore, but honestly, I think the new jar is even prettier, so go check it out. Anyway, you guys, I'm really excited to finally share a post-burn review of this particular fragrance because it really has become one of my favorites, and it will be a staple in my fall home fragrance routine for many years to come. So let's go ahead and dig into this really beautiful, really sophisticated pumpkin scent. First, I'm going to go ahead and read through the scent story. Then we will address all of the key notes. I'll let you know what my nose smells in this fragrance. We'll dig into the overall strength and throw, and then, of course, lastly, address the burn quality. All right, the scent story reads as follows. Invite the warmth of the season into your home with spiced pumpkin latte. Fresh kabocha pumpkin is brewed with the warmest of spices, starring ginger, cardamom, and clove. Creamy coconut crema permeates the blend, while a touch of vanilla marshmallow and cinnamon spice brulee tops it off with a delicate, sweet touch. The key fragrance notes are kabocha pumpkin, coconut crema, and cinnamon spice brulee. But obviously, in the scent story that I just read, we also had vanilla marshmallow mentioned, and then we had the actual spices listed out. So ginger, cardamom, and clove. So what do I smell here? First of all, I thought we could go ahead and address the pumpkin note, specifically the kabocha pumpkin. And I'm going to go ahead and just read to you what a kabocha pumpkin is. Now, I might totally be mispronouncing kabocha, but that's what it looks like to me, so that's what I'm going with. My apologies if that is incorrect. So, kabocha squash, also known as Japanese pumpkin, is a sweet, dense winter squash with a dark green rigid rind and bright orange flesh that tastes like a cross between a sweet potato and a pumpkin. So, does this pumpkin smell a little different from some other pumpkin notes that we typically see this time of year? I really do think it does. It really does smell like this particular pumpkin is a cross between a regular old sugar pumpkin and a sweet potato. It's much creamier. It has what seems to be just a little bit more maybe natural sweetness to it, but this is not an overly sweet pumpkin scent. I really do think that this has a little more emphasis on the spice portion, but it's also not overly spicy either. It's just a really well balanced fragrance. And I think it's that balance that helps to kind of create this more like elevated type of scent experience than, you know, your typical like pumpkin cupcake type of fragrances, right? So yes, the pumpkin note is distinct. It's a little bit different from the norm, and it's really nice. I like this particular pumpkin note. I think I also just like sweet potato in general. So yes, it's creamy, it's warm, and it does have that little bit of natural sweetness to it, but it's not overly sweet. The coconut crema, I'm gonna kind of tie in the coconut crema with the vanilla marshmallow. There really is a nice creaminess to this fragrance. And again, it does smell like you have a little bit of, it smells like almost marshmallow fluff. Like you folded some marshmallow fluff into the formulation and then topped that off with some sweetened coconut cream, like a really thick coconut cream. Again, sweet, but not overly sweet. Nothing in this fragrance is cloying or, you know, like sickly sweet in any kind of way. What I really though like about this fragrance the most is probably this cinnamon spiced brulee. So it doesn't necessarily smell like a creme brulee, but you know how when you get a creme brulee, they caramelize the sugar on the top by torching it. So this smells like they took that caramelized part and kind of like broke it up into the formulation, if you will. So it smells like cinnamon and sugar were caramelized together, and then just that portion of the creme brulee, that caramelized sugar, was put into this fragrance. It smells so authentic, you guys. It really smells like caramelized sugar. So it's a little bit deeper and richer than just like a regular old like sugar note. But it's also not like molasses, you know, like a lot of times you'll smell like brown sugar or molasses in pumpkin scents. That's not what it is. It really smells like that caramelized cinnamon sugar from the top of a fall inspired creme brulee, if you will. Really delicious. I love the hint of ginger in here. It's not overly aggressive. I don't actually like a lot of ginger typically. The cardamom is perfect. And the clove is also just more of like a hint of clove versus like a heavy like dusting of clove. Honestly, this is perfectly spiced, perfectly blended, perfectly sweet, not overdone in any kind of way. It is definitely different from some of the other pumpkin scents that, quite frankly, I also love. So I love a lot of different types of pumpkin scents, but a lot of them do kind of tend to smell roughly about the same. This, I think, does smell just a little bit different, and I like that about this one. So it was definitely worth splurging on for me, and I will definitely splurge on it again in the future, especially with that beautiful new, a beautiful new glass jar design that they have. It's just, oh, you have to go look at it. Just at least go look at the new jar. It is stunning. All right, let's discuss strength and throw. So obviously with Voluspa, you have several different vessel options, right? and each vessel is going to have its own strength and throw. So I am judging this based off of this 3-wick version, this mini hearth size, if you will. I'm going to put the strength of this probably at just about a solid 8. It's a really good performer, and the strength is more than adequate for the size here. This does not need to be in the hurricane that it's in order to perform. I just want to clarify that. If you're wondering about this little setup here, so this is the Chester Hurricane from Pottery Barn. That is a Homeworks candle pedestal inside. It is one of the pine cone pedestals, obviously. And this, by the way, is the lid for the Voluspa candle. So this does not need to be in this hurricane. I just think it looks really pretty in here. So that's where it lives. I don't think that it increases the strength and the throw for this one really anyway, because it's about the same when I just have this, you know, sitting on the kitchen counter. And I have had that with this one, because there have been evenings where I have placed other candles into this particular setup here and then moved this to another area of the house, because I don't necessarily need a hurricane for it. So the throw, I would probably also put at a good solid 8 for this particular size. Now, if you are going to try some of their smaller formats, I don't know that the strength and throw is going to be what it is here for this 3-wick, but you know, do with that information what you will. But for me in the future, I am actually going to be, so as Voluspa and, you know, all other retailers who carry Voluspa candles, as they start clearancing out their fall candles, I will be snatching up one of these spiced pumpkin lattes in the like big old hearth size, so that I can have that on hand for next fall. I want to get a good deal on it, and I think the best deal that I'm going to find is probably towards the end of the fall season here. So anyway, that's my game plan. But yeah, strength and throw are fantastic here. The overall burn quality, I have to say, I think is really, really good. This has pooled out evenly every single burn. There is no discoloration of the wax. The wicks are great. I will say every once in a while, there is like a little smoke that will come up from one of the wicks, but I'm not sure why that happens. It doesn't happen every single burn. I do trim the wicks fairly short between each burn. The wicks are easy enough to trim with just, if you just want to use your fingers to do it. You know, with some companies, you have to use like wick clippers in order to trim the wicks. You can just nip these off if you want to. The coconut wax that Voluspa uses is quite soft. So careful not to like dig your fingers in there. But yeah, just a really beautiful overall clean burn quality here that I'm really happy with. I really love the burn of coconut wax, and if you've never tried it, I would definitely recommend it. It's a beautiful formulation. So let's go ahead and take an overhead look so that you can see what this looks like from the top. You can kind of see that there are a few like, you know, pieces of the wicks that fell into the wax there. But it has not affected the overall burn at all. So, yeah, sorry, I don't know why the camera keeps going in and out of focus, but this has now been lit, just so you have a reference point. This has been lit for, hold on, let me look at 2 hours. This has been lit for 2 hours. I haven't even reached the full wax pool yet. Usually at hour 3 is when I reach the full wax pool. And this gets to be like a solid inch in there. So yeah, that's why you're getting some really great strength and throw from this one. It's not burning overly hot, but it definitely burns pretty warm. So I love it. This will be a staple in my fall routine going forward. I think it's a really beautiful fragrance. I think it is a stunning vessel. And I think that the Voluspa wax overall is a really high quality, and the products are made here in the US. So if that is something that is really important to you, all of the Voluspa candles they're actually hand poured in Southern California. So if you are interested in something that is made here in the US, Voluspa would be a company that I would say is worth checking out. All right, have a great rest of your day. Let me know if you have any questions about this particular fragrance. I really appreciate you being here, and I will see you in the next one. Subscribe if you're new, and give this video a big old thumbs up. Toodaloo.